Welcome to Pat's Picks. This is the $24 challenge. Thank you so much for coming by. Today is episode 3, and I am very happy to say this is 4 green days in a row. I'm going to go over the last 3 of them with you here today, and you can see the 25th up 15%, the 26th, 28, and today plus 9, which I am happy and grateful for. But man, let me tell you, did I leave some money on the table? As you probably already know, clicking on this, as I'm sure I put it in the thumbnail because it is that absurd. Hurts a little bit to watch, but you know, it is what it is. This is why it's great to be in those situations where you can buy more than one contract and hold on to those runners like we're doing with that 24K challenge. Be on the lookout for that video dropping tomorrow. I know some of you guys are waiting for an update on that, and I'm happy to say it's going quite well. So before I get into it, please smash that like button and please subscribe if you're new here, and drop a comment if you're feeling real frisky. All those things really help the channel out a lot, and really, lets YouTube know that to pump it out more, because man, I tell you, after taking a break, the impressions that they go off a cliff, and it's to be expected, but it is frustrating, just to be completely transparent with you guys. But that's not going to stop me from putting out content. I do apologize for there being no video Monday, the day I'm filming this. I was trying to film this weekend. It is just hard, so I might keep it 4 days a week, something I can commit to, and if I want to scale back, go from there. But yeah, it is definitely a grind putting videos out every day, especially when you have 3 kids like I do, and of course just everyday life like everyone knows. So I'm doing the best I can, so I greatly appreciate all of you guys watching, and let's get right into it. So looking at the 15-minute chart here, you can see the past 3 days of trading, and as you can see, a perfect technical breakout today towards the end of the day. And man, this is the move I was waiting for these past 3 days, but just did not have the timing quite right with it. And to watch it run without me kind of sucks. I mean, I guess technically I was trading in the other account with it, but to not be in this account, it does burn. And I will show you how far that thing ran in just a minute. All right, but starting off with the 25th, I made one trade for 20%. And that was a 15% day, so I got in at 10:35. Now let's zoom in to the 1-minute chart here so you can see better as I scroll on over and walk you guys through my thought process and mindset and what I was looking at as I got into this trade. And hopefully these things help you guys out as you go into trade tomorrow or the next day. The more you hear these things over and over, you'll find a lot of the information is repetitive. And it's just, letting it really sink in, and being prepared for these situations to come up, because so many of these plays happen time and time again. A lot of the patterns and charts are so similar that, give it enough time, you guys will be able to see it starting to form and see it coming before it even happens. And that's how you really set yourself up for these moves. So right here, what I was looking for was a break to the downside. Obviously, it looks like hindsight's 2020. But how I came to that conclusion, well, we hit resistance here at 488, and if I zoom out a little bit, let's see if there is previous resistance. I gotta kind of refresh my memory here. Okay, so as you can see, zooming out on the 15-minute chart, this was at the time the market's all-time high. So there was no previous resistance points to kind of go off at that point. And that is something a little bit trickier, and obviously something I'm not used to doing in the market. The last time I was trading all-time highs was, I believe, 3 years ago. So there's not a whole lot of experience on my end of trading those uncharted territories, if you will. It's a little bit easier when you can see historically where those levels have been and kind of play off that. But what you can do in these situations where you are in those uncharted territories, or the market's hitting new highs, or whatever stock you might be trading, a lot of what I'm saying applies to anything that you're trading. What you can really look for is those break-even numbers, and let's just zoom in here and you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Have to scroll and find it again. And here we go. So what I saw happen was this breakthrough 487.65. This range here, we had that strong break to the upside, but once we hit resistance at 488.31, and we could not hold above really 48 with much strength, and it was starting to look like that pressure was going to pull back to the downside and look like it was going to come down and at least retest this zone right here. This is kind of that safety zone of like, all right, I feel like almost guaranteed. Obviously you can't guarantee anything, but it feels like there is such a good chance that it's going to at least pull back to this level let me watch for a contract and see if I can find a good position to get in break even, so that if it does make a big move, then I'm there for that ride. And then if it doesn't, well, hopefully I can get out break even or just take that small loss. And so that's what I did here. And those little things I just said are very critical, especially when trading a small account like this, because every little move matters so much. Because with this, I only had one shot and done for the day. Fortunately today I was able to take 2 trades and come out green. And I think at the time of trading this, there was only like $5.50 in the account at the time. So starting with almost nothing, and the account hit a low of 470, I believe, which is crazy that I did not add more money, but I decided to stick it out, and here I am up over 100% from there. But that is kind of my thought process and what I'm looking for there. So once we broke this support level right here, and it looked like it was going to come back and retrace this candle right here, specifically what I'm looking at. And if you're looking at those levels, that's really exactly 488. So we had that nice pop from 487.80, a nice 20-cent pop to the upside. And then once it looked like it was coming back through and it broke that, I was like, all right, let me just hop in here. And, the timing with how exactly I got in the exact moment, it really comes down to the contract that I'm looking at, and I'm watching the bid and ask price right here on the right side. Well, that doesn't help. Let me show you guys just a little example. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, I don't usually dive this far into the detail on it, but once in a while I will. And I know some of you guys are new here and haven't seen this. So if you just look at a contract that expires tomorrow, you can see the bid ask right here, and this is what I'm talking about. So what I'm looking for is the ask to come all the way up as far as I can. I want all these $28 contracts spot up, and I'm trying to get the last 1,000 or so that I can. That way, hopefully when I get in, the momentum's also moving with me and on my side, and I can quickly get over here on that break even, and take a little bit of a sigh of relief. And if things go to plan, ride that wave and take profit and be ready to sell. Locking in profits quick is really important when you have a small account. And I'm basically ready to sell the whole time. So hopefully that little example helps. If you have any more questions on that or want me to dive into any of those details a little bit further, I am more than happy to help. Just drop a comment down below and I will, go over that in the next video. It's not too much for me to just kind of go over these things, and I really enjoy sharing the information I know. There's too many people out there just trying to charge money for courses and just creating this whole just bad rap on the whole industry, really. People scamming for money and saying they're making real trades when that's paper trades, and not being transparent and never showing you their account and things like that. I could go on, and I have before, but I'm not going to today. So let's go back to the chart here before I get distracted. As you guys know, that's part of what I do apparently. Come on, SPY, work with me. All right, looking back here, now let's go on to the 26th. The next day was another single trade for 50% gain and 28% on the day. So as you can see here on the 26th, let's zoom on in here, and man, that does not work very well. All right, looking at the 26th here, and this one is a little bit of a different example. This one, there's previous levels of resistance as opposed to that last day where we're hitting those uncharted territories where it's like, I don't know where it's going to go. For example, today, that thing just kept ripping like I thought it might do back on the 25th. But, patience pays. And just being prepared for those moves is really the game changer. But here we go. Let's take a look at this trade. On the 26th, I got in at 10:27 and out at 10:45. So I held this for about 18 minutes. And you can see right here where I got in and out. And, this one's pretty simple. The market opened, hit rejection right here, and this kind of correlated over to the previous levels of resistance in pre-market. And once it came back down here, found support, and we're bouncing around. I was like, all right, we're looking like we're going to bounce here and make another move to the upside. I was expecting at least to hit right here and possibly reject, if not continuation. And, I was able to hold through that little bit of hesitancy right there in the market. It was a little bit choppy, but I was already up $1. And luckily I didn't get stopped out. That's always frustrating when the market just pulls back and you either have an automatic stop loss or you manually just pull the trigger and then just watch it rip, man. kind of like what happened today, as we'll get into next. But how I decided to get out, well, it's pretty simple. I could see that the volume was slowing down, the momentum was really slowing down, and if you kind of look at the chart, you can see it visually. It's just not going up as fast. If you want to keep it as simple as possible, the chart starts to go more sideways and less vertical, and when that happens, theta starts to work against you, and it's just best just to take profit and get out. And usually once it slows down, it's, I don't know what the percentage is, but most of the time it slows down, bounces around for a little bit, finds a level of support, and then makes a move to the up or downside from there. It doesn't usually slow down and then all of a sudden speed back up unless there's some kind of news or speech going on at that time. But typically that's what you'll see. You'll see a nice strong move to the upside, and you'll see the volume slow down while it builds support right here and then decides what it's going to do. And it also, a lot of it depends on the day. This was 10:30 right after lunch, so actually I take that back. That's 10, this is actually 7:30 Pacific time, so really this is in the morning, kind of leaning towards later in the afternoon part of the morning. That doesn't make sense. It's getting closer to lunchtime, so you can anticipate that the volume's going to slow down. So anyways, let's go on to today and get this video wrapped on up before it gets too long. And I gotta get out of here. I gotta take my kid. Oh my gosh, I gotta leave, man, 5 minutes. I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. Jeez Louise, that was shocking. Alright, so today, let's just go over these quick trades. I made 2 trades today, and they both turned out to just run absolutely crazy after I sold them. So I got in this first trade at 12.24, held it for an hour and 25 minutes, and cut losses for a 33% loss. Just for this thing to run, we'll find out, very far. Second trade, I made 50% gain on. I held this for 6 minutes. Isn't that crazy? I can hold something for an hour 25, cut losses, and then wait for that. That's just a better opportunity, wait for volume to pick up and kind of wait and watch the order book. Just be more patient, and then, within 6 minutes make 50%. It's crazy how things work out sometimes, but patience truly does pay off. But let's just take a look at these contracts before I get any more sidetracked, and this video keeps on running. Wow, so there you have it. This contract hit a peak of 70. Mind you, I sold this thing at $2 right around here. I mean, I guess we can look where I sold it. I sold it at $13.50, so I mean way back here for $2, and that ran to 70. So, it only ran 2,241% without me. Ouch. And then this next one, the 490 calls, ran all the way to 147, closed the day out at 95. Just insane. And I sold this at $6, which is just painful, man. Salt in the wound. At least I finished the day green. So, always be grateful for green, because this could have just as easily been a red day. And then the same thing could have happened, which is even more painful. But we can see I sold this at 6, and then it ran to 147. So that's 2,300%. So 2 contracts ran about 2,000% after I sold them. And that's all I have for the day, you guys. I greatly appreciate all of you. Let's take a look at the account and wrap things up. There we have it, 4 green days in a row. If you weren't here, this was technically a green day. It's just because I held one contract overnight and then it expired, so that's kind of what I'm left with. I made one small trade, yada yada. Call it 3, call it 4. I'm gonna call it 4, but again, that's all I have for the day. And if you're new here, I'm completely transparent, always have been, always will be, and I hope you stay happy and healthy. I'll see you tomorrow.